Blog Talk Radio.
Hey guys, this is Those Guys. I with your host Matt Marrero, along with your other host
Bill Cipher. I wish I could say my name in cipher, but it would really come out as some kind of gibberish.
It sucks because I feel like certain people would still. I feel like some people would still be able to pronounce it better than they pronounce your name right now.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of
people are horrible.
Axolotl correctly, but they won't get my name. Axolotl is relevant. It'll come up in a moment. But
okay, so anyway, yeah, if you saw me cut there, you were just like, oh man, you know, Matt's usually a lot more chipper, and what happened? Out of nowhere, he just kind of got a lot sadder. Well, yeah, because this isn't our last episode, like our last podcast of Gravity Falls, because there's still a whole first season. No, because I mean we can still try. I mean, there's still a whole first season that we haven't touched, but this is the last new episode, as far as we know, even though I still have little tiny bits of hope. It's the last, and mind you, there was no hope going into this episode. Once I saw the episode, they did a few things that I thought, maybe they have the ability to make a little bit more. Not necessarily related to the kids or related to, Bill Cipher at all. But just, they left some open-ended stuff, which I think is always good for certain shows to do, because sometimes, these characters have lives. They do. Like, they're fictional, but they have lives. So, it's a little strange sometimes how, I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but I think there definitely has to be some shows that just wrapped everything up way too nicely. And I say too nicely in the sense that it's just, okay, now we're either all dead or, just no real prospects for the future. But I think this show did a good job of,
No, there's definitely a lot of potential. So I guess it's sort of a hoping for the best, expecting the worst situation for me here, the worst being no more Gravity Falls stuff ever, because there is not only is there enough fuel to have another set of Gravity Falls stuff, if you're pushing it, there's definitely enough for a spin-off or, some side stuff. And there were some things that were left unrevealed, and I think it left a weird taste in my mouth the first time around, because I don't know
it's the clones.
Why.
It's the Dipper clones, right? Is that the one that's the one I always think about. I always think about the Dipper clones.
Oh, no matter
what happens.
That was tied in. I'm really glad. But,
no, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was.
How was it tied in?
Did you watch the credit scene?
Yes.
Dippers 3 and 4 are in a photograph in a tent while it's raining. Swear to God. Not messing with you.
All right. So I'm going to prove you're a liar, even though you're not. Tell me about the show while I'm looking through the opening credits. Tell us more about how much we love the show.
End credits.
I know.
Okay.
End credits, I know.
Okay, so it was weird because I watched it back to back, where I watched the 7 to 8 and then I watched the 8 to 9 rerun. And when I first saw the 7 to 8, it didn't hit me as emotionally as it hit a lot of people, I guess, because it was weird to me. Huh?
I cried a lot.
Yeah, you cried.
Here's the thing.
A few of my friends who were watching also cried.
Here's why. I expected, oh, wow, I do see them. Sorry, I was looking up and down writing notes. Wow, they actually explained the clones. Never mind. Love you, Alex Hirsch. Anyway, because here's the thing.
I was looking for everything.
I've been complaining about the clones for God knows how long. But anyway, and I'm sure the internet has as well.
Go on.
Anyway, thank you. No, because I was too busy writing notes, and I saw this thing twice, by the way. I was too busy writing notes both times, or getting ready for a podcast both times. Anyway, this is why it's hard, I think, sometimes when, at least when I see people writing notes at, let's say, like, live sports shows. I know it's what you do. I'm just saying that, like, and I'm sorry. I'm just saying that, like, if let's say we're at a WWE show, it's hard sometimes because when I see people's reviews of certain WWE shows, they're always lacking something, and it's just like, guys, you didn't look up at the moment that I was looking up.
Mm-hmm, no, I totally get it. It's hard because I don't even, I'm not a note taker when we go into these podcasts. I took notes for this podcast because I was looking for everything I possibly could. Not to sit here and say, oh, I saw this before anyone else, because honestly the Reddit has me beat in every section ever. But
of course.
I wanted to know for myself because I wanted to feel a sense of closure. I wanted to feel a sense of completion, that everything was addressed. And not everything was addressed. I'll say 90% of shit was, and I have to give them respect for that. But I went into there thinking that, I guess with these preconceived notions that, we'd find out what Dipper's name was, and, there would be more.
Don't we know what Dipper's name is through some outside sources?
We do not.
Oh. Well, that's why we need the spin-off.
This is Dipper's name was never revealed, and I guess that's one of them that was like a thorn in my side, because in the
spin-off will have Dipper's name. The name of the show will be Dipper's name. It'll be named Jonathan, and everyone will be so confused. What's Disney's Jonathan doing? The
behind-the-scenes thing that Alex did, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All he threw out there was that Dipper and Mabel's names have a similarity, and he implied that it would have been a spoiler to mention Dipper's name. So I guess I went in there thinking that it was going to come up somehow. And
so
it
that's
didn't.
Funny.
It disappointed me. And I guess I wasn't expecting all the feels, so they didn't hit me the first time because I was so busy looking for everything I fucking could that I wasn't caught up in the emotions.
You did it wrong.
So watching it the second time.
Yeah, as a proper note taker, let me tell you what you have to do. And I know you're going to be like, Matt, shut the fuck up. No, but I'm being serious. You have to let everything hit you and then look for everything the second time around. Because you knew you had time to watch it twice. So by doing that,
I actually did not. That's the problem.
Oh, my bad. Okay, because I always have it on my DVR, or somehow I try to get it twice.
I figured that the next time I'd get to watch it would be post-podcast. So I was like, I'm just going to try to grab everything I could. And then when I saw it replaying immediately, I was like, sure, let me give this a watch, like a clean watch without any notes. And I enjoyed it a bit more, and I kind of understand why people walked away liking it as much as they did. So if we had this podcast at 8, it's a different tone as to what I'm saying now.
Yes, which thank God we didn't. We never try to plan them right after because we always like to make sure that all the cryptograms and stuff are solved. But I'm really happy because I would have been so mad at you.
At me?
If you were just like, yeah, man. Well, because you're man, the Grunkle fan scene was okay.
I didn't think it was a finale at all. At 8 o'clock, I was like, no, this was like an 8.5 or 9 out of 10 because I liked it.
Okay, true. That's true. No, I give you that. I'm saying that if you would have been like, yeah, the Stan stuff was okay, I would have been like, how fucking dare you? Because I also need time to calm down as well.
I do think it would have benefited from a little more time if possible.
That is 100%. But that goes with every single either finale or two-parter type situation. They always need more time. I mean, as much as people say what they want to say about Moffat, a writer for Doctor Who, Stephen Moffat, and I'll probably agree with you for a lot of it, whatever you might say.
Yeah.
Definitely some of his stuff at one point, I believe it was Series 6, just needed to be extended into two-parters and given more time, but they weren't. They ended up being 40-minute episodes, and they felt rushed. And that, again, that was because at the time I believe BBC was very into not having two-parters. Just let it be one part. And some stuff suffered because of it. It felt very rushed. This, I do think at one point everything was jam-packed really nicely, but I think when it did come down to Stan losing his memory, it was rushed. Him getting it back. Because, again, they didn't have enough time.
The Cypher Wheel thing were rushed weirdly for me.
I think the Cypher Wheel, I like the Cypher Wheel. That needed to be rushed. Because it wasn't the final plan.
It didn't work. Yeah, but...
That's what I'm saying. It needed to be rushed. No, because I feel like if they had too much time, then it would have been... it was interesting. I feel like it was this, they got to argue, right? The brothers got to argue, and it was done so quickly that, at a moment's notice, this will happen. Also, the fact that how long is that robot really going to take once it's getting beaten with its own leg?
No, I like that, but in terms of, a moment to explain, I guess, or at least more, not in that specific moment, but it would have been nice if somehow we found out a little more about it, because I guess it's kind of funny. We sat through the entire series from episode 1, essentially knowing that wheel, and it's like, wow, and it came up once for 30 seconds and got blown to bits, and I think it's kind of hilarious because, the Cypher was important, but it never ended up doing anything, that Cypher Wheel, rather.
But I like that in a way, because the thing is okay, it's a trope, and it's too much of it. I know you're going to say you like it that didn't work, but still the point is that I think it's too much of a trope to focus on as much as I do enjoy this trope, but still, the whole ancients coming up with this, sort of, the prophecies and stuff like that. And it's like, no, they were destroyed by, some good old-fashioned smarts, some ingenuity, and some new technology, right? Instead of just, oh no, the ancients, and thankfully, I mean, as much as I love Destiny, I love the idea of Destiny, not the video game. I don't play the video game.
Good game.
It's still like just it would have. I know you're not saying that it should have worked. I'm just saying that if we focused too much on it, then people would have said it was too much of a tease if it didn't actually work.
Okay.
Also, I have to admit, they spent just enough time on a giant robot fight, although I do think that could have gone on for longer, but just enough time on a giant robot fight to leave me extremely happy in places that I didn't think a cartoon could make me happy in.
That was really fun. Not only the music, but it's funny because I felt the building it was rushed too, but I let it slide because I figured it had to be. Like, I sat there and I'm like,
we're going to have a montage.
Yeah, like, we're going to have stuff going on. So, like, I'm glad that was the part that was rushed there, because in my head it's like, that's fine, because I would have been in my head annoyed if that took another minute or two. So,
you just want a movie. You just wanted a movie.
I would absolutely have loved a movie. Yes.
Yeah, Sam. Yeah. No, but I mean, like, in terms of you're just like, everything was rushed. You just wanted a movie where everything happened in minute detail. Oh, no, we need to find... They take 20 minutes to build that robot.
Yeah,
they would have had to have scoured to find all these parts.
Storyline-wise, that was a criticism in my head in the beginning, where it's like, they built a robot that quick, but it's like, forget it. Why the fuck should I be on semantics right now? Like,
to be fair, though, that's McGucket in a nutshell. The fact that McGucket could even build a robot in general, I think just for everyone, just like, wait, how is he even able to, even when we found out how, oh, he's a genius, still, it's just like, but, still, it's like, it's McGucket. That's the explanation. Just always, just write it off as, it's McGucket.
And
but,
to be fair, the episode, even though being the finale, was littered with cute stuff, there was 2 backwards messages. We had a cipher at the end in terms of, like, the end screen. We had 2 time cards that needed to be solved. So,
you know what's weird, by the way? Question. And again, I hate to be like, oh, this is my hope, this is my dream. Like, I understand it's denial. What's strange is that the Gravity Falls, I know episode descriptions are not based in reality. What I mean by that is, there's always mistakes and flaws and things like that. Sometimes some funny ones that I'll post on, on my personal Twitter, as well as, and reshare with the Those Guys Twitter, which is @ThoseGuysRadio, in regards to WWE stuff, right? But the episode description described this as the season finale, not the series finale.
Yeah, a lot of people were talking about that, but all inclinations point to this being the series finale.
Yes, of course. The only thing that threw me off as well, but again, this is just denial, because I talked about the idea of everyone's lives continuing, the idea of just, read this when you miss Gravity Falls, and of course Wendy talking directly to us when saying that. When Dipper opens the letter, it says, see you next summer, which makes sense in storyline in terms of, no one's dead. Like, there's another summer coming. But yeah, that threw me off in terms of like, are you trying to say like, we'll see you again we'll see you again sometime? Because like that I get. I mean, that's definitely a seeing that they're fans of like these Japanese shows that you and I are also fans of. That's definitely a very like superhero-y, like it's just this kind of way to end it. Just like, see you again. I mean, hell, you have fucking Cowboy Bebop, see you, Space Cowboy. So stuff like that. But it was just very strange as a message because it's kind of like, are you saying, like, are you coming back next summer? Is that what you're saying, Hirsch? What are you trying to say to me?
It's funny.
Me, Matt Marrero, no other fan, just me.
Yeah,
from those guys on the radio.
Falls, I think, taught me to look for that stuff.
Yeah.
And it's annoying because it's like you're messing with me. I know you're fucking with me. And I know Alex is going to sit there and catch wind of this because he's going to hear, like, a whole bunch of nerds on podcasts just sitting here like, fuck you, Alex, but we love you. And he's just going to have a hearty chuckle about it and go on with his Alex Hirsch life. And, I mean,
by the way, speaking of his Alex Hirsch life, if because of Gravity Falls fame, he develops a show based on, like, a parody of Japanese superheroes, Japanese monsters and stuff, I would be very fucking happy with that. Like, I will literally sit here and go, it's okay if Gravity Falls is done because he's doing this. Because after seeing this giant robot fight, they can do it. Like, it's not foreign.
No, there was enough here that we're good. I mean, there's also, and I don't know if you're aware of this, there is a effort right now forming as we are podcasting to find the Bill Cipher statue from the credits.
Like in Google Maps?
No, like to physically find out where it's located and go find it. Because that's one of the fucking codes in the episode that relates to it.
Whoa, that's interesting.
So it's funny, there was a lot of subtle stuff here that I was able to pick up on, very happy. And what I have to do and sit here for a moment and just say, like, not for now only, but throughout the entire series, is that I want to give a very hearty thank you to the entire community of the Gravity Falls subreddit, because I'm not the greatest at decoding. I'll find things, but these people are, like, masterminds at decoding. And it's great because, like, I sat there and I can sit there and post something and be like, hey, this, and then in 20 minutes they'll decode it, and it's wonderful. And they've been really helpful with ideas and thoughts and supporting the fandom throughout the series. But, so there were a couple things throughout the episode. I mean, I mentioned there's 2 backwards messages.
Right.
I don't know if you know where they are.
I haven't. I wasn't able to decode anything I mentioned to you. Yeah.
No, it's cool, right? Because I know you had internet troubles, so you were struggling to get some stuff going on, right? So the 2 backwards messages that seem to slip in. There could be more. You know, this is not the comprehensive list of the end of the world here, but the voice at the end of the opening says "Goodbye, Gravity Falls" when you reverse.
Oh, okay.
Which is
okay. Which is like duh.
More importantly, sort of, Bill, when he is dying and he speaks distorted, he's speaking backwards.
Of course.
And the message is axolotl, AXOLOTL, that's what he says, which is the key for the Veneria cipher in this episode, by the way, in case anyone wanted it. And the line is, my time has come to burn. I invoke the ancient powers that I may return.
You know what's funny? So that literally ties into what I was about to make a joke about, which was, when, his backward messaging actually, when decoded, turns into JK not canceled.
It would have been funny, right? But
no. But it's close. By the way, the show was never actually canceled. Hirsch ended it because he wanted to. But the joke is just, oh no, we're not done, which it doesn't seem as if it's done.
And that scene was really interesting for many reasons, because one, we know that Bill usually predicts the future, or when he has photos on him, they're of really interesting things.
Yes. What was the photo? I couldn't pause it because my DVR was very hard to.
It seems to be the real life Bill Cipher statue.
Okay, because I thought I saw the same.
It's just
forest.
An educated guess, but it seems like it's and that's, well, first off, before I go on about the Bill Cipher statue, because I think it's kind of humorous and amazing at the same time this is going on. But the scene where Bill dies, I really, really enjoyed it. That was actually one of my favorite scenes of this entire thing. Not only because of of Stanley being able to have his redemption moment, but there was a lot of symbolism in the series about Stan dying in a fire or something like that. And I can point out 2 on the top of my head, which is the giant flaming balloon from The Love God.
Right.
And from, the name of the episode escapes me, but it's the one with Gabe Benson and the puppets. And the flaming puppet of Stan is the one that, so this is something that I always appreciate.
That one was called Stan's Puppet Dies in the Fire, foreshadowing.
Right. So in Stan's puppet dies in a fire, and in The Love God we have like at least two. There's more, because I know this has been discussed more at length. I'm just, I guess, commenting on something I appreciated. Because then you look at the scene here, and Stan is not dying, but Stan, technically, because his memories are gone, that is a form of death. So you have him and Bill dying in this fire. And I really,
aesthetically,
really loved,
it was beautiful.
Yeah, I really loved that scene, and that was probably my favorite animated scene of the series, because it not only fulfilled that symbolism for me and gave me a sense of satisfaction of like, okay, so it did mean something. You know, they weren't just using fire like that, but also it was like you said, it was aesthetically very pleasing and very well done.
Oh yeah.
But,
so I want to talk about some things. I mentioned it to you before the show began, but I didn't mention it to you during this podcast. The cameos in this episode were amazing, right? Because, of course, you mentioned to me earlier, and, of course, obviously I knew, but still, we got to see Larry King come back, which is great.
I don't know why I found that so funny, but, man,
everyone,
I appreciate that.
I think everyone feels the same way. No, everyone found it funny. But what I like is, okay, we get to see Larry King come back. That's the thing. Larry King come back. That's what throws me off. Also, we got to see the actor who played Doc Ock in Spider-Man movies. Name is completely, leaves me. But if you remember, that guy, who did he play? Well, he's been playing the Multi-Bear the entire time. So, boom. And, of course, Nathan Fillion, who, being Pacifica's dad again. Not the first time Pacifica's dad was on screen, but for the Mansion Noir, was that the name of the episode? I know Noir was in it.
Northwest Manor Noir, or something of that nature.
Yeah, because it had two names. So anyway, he was there, and as Pacifica's dad. So, and if you're thinking, who's Nathan Fillion? Well, he's been Green Lantern, and some stuff. He was Captain Hammer, and in Dr. Horrible's, sing-along blog. Oh, and, the kind of main character Firefly, whatever, Yeah,
right, and then I threw the one at you from Twin Peaks, which was interesting.
Yes.
Kyle MacLachlan, who was the main character, the agent in Twin Peaks from the 90s, before I think you and I were born, actually, was brought on
Well, the show began, I believe, in 91, Yeah, or did it end in 91?
I think it ended in 92, which means you might be safe, but you also are a late birthday. But, he was brought on to do the bus driver from going back from Gravity Falls to California, and that was something you could see in the credits, and I was like, that's really cool. Cause
I didn't notice it was him,
cool for Alex, because I didn't know his voice, but, credits, thank God. So it's really cool, because, I'm sure Alex is just sitting here I need the guy who did the original Twin Peaks to come in a couple lines.
Oh, yeah. And I believe, we're getting some more Twin Peaks, and I believe he's going to be in the new Twin Peaks as well?
Yes,
yeah.
Comic is supposed to be in the revamped Twin Peaks in 2017, which is a crazy phrase for me to say.
And if any of you don't know, you're like, oh, Twin Peaks, I've heard of it, but I don't know if I know this actor. If you remember the crazy boat, millionaire boat guy from How I Met Your Mother with the crazy eyes, that was him. So if any of you are thinking, I've never seen Twin Peaks, oh my God, that's him. Yes, that's him. But anyway, so jumping back into this episode, so this episode was littered with Japanese, just fandomness, right? And it's not even, here's the thing though, it's not even just Seuss, which I think is a beautiful thing. Because you look at the fucking sound effects that they used with the totem pole, and those were right out of a Japanese monster movie. Like Godzilla, or, I guess you could also argue King Kong, but, a lot of King Kong films have also been made in Japan. Hell, one of the earliest Japanese films, I believe in the 1920s, was actually burned and lost in a fire. I believe it was Toho, which they've made, Godzilla and a bunch of other Japanese monster films. There was a huge fire that destroyed one of the very first King Kong films. So it's just never been recovered. So it's just a lost film. But, so the point is that the totem pole essentially screams like a Japanese monster. You think of fucking Godzilla, Mothra. And I'm sitting there and I'm going, God damn it, I hate you all. Because you know what you're doing.
Water tower made a Bowser sound
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Which was really funny. I sat there and I'm like, I know that's not completely, but it really made me laugh.
No, it's still nerd stuff. It's still fun nerd stuff, so I understand. Also, by the way, Seuss, this is the one you were laughing at, I know, directly references anime, something that I feel as if this episode, because it was a season or series finale, whichever one you want to go with, definitely they had the leeway to just say nearly whatever they wanted to. I mean, I know certain things may have been held back for censors and stuff, but for the most part, I mean, they let loose completely, like as much as they fucking could. I mean, the fact that Seuss referenced anime, like, you're gonna want some gun swords. What's anime? We have much to discuss. Like,
and then in the montage, it looks like, honestly, making a shot in the dark, it looks like
Eva.
Mega Man and Eva together.
Mm-hmm.
And I was laughing because I was like, that's ridiculous, and you're a dork.
Yeah, no. And then not just that, because you're like, oh, well, that's funny. But not just that, just watching the actual giant robot sequence, right? It itself was a nod to the anime G Gundam. And, of course, a lot of other stuff, some American, some Japanese, that I think some people, listening to us will know about, and others might not. But still, let's talk about it right now. I know there's some other stuff in the middle, and I'll bring it up. Some of you might be a little upset. You're just going, you're skipping this. That's a total load of schmebulok. We'll get back to it. Okay? But for right now, I want to jump to this giant robot fight because, my God. Okay, they had a dinosaur arm. So if it wasn't confirmed already, the writing staff loves tokusatsu. And by that, I've mentioned on so many other shows, the idea of, tokusatsu means Japanese special effects, if you translate it, directly, or not Japanese, but special effects. But the point of tokusatsu, when you think of shows like Power Rangers, right? In Japan, it's called Super Sentai, being released by Shout Factory, by the way. The original, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, at source, as in Zero Ranger, released on DVD. The season right after that, Die Ranger, released on DVD. Fucking Kaku Rangers, coming out in May, I believe. So we're getting Sentai in the U.S., and that's great. That's not just Power Rangers. But yeah, so Japanese superheroes became Power Rangers. Sentai did, anyway. Kamen Rider became Saban's Masked Rider and Kamen Rider Dragon Knight. If anyone goes, I remember those. God, of course we've had Godzilla, which is, tokusatsu. We've had Ultraman. Ultraman's on Crunchyroll, too, by the way. Anyone who loves Ultraman, just go on Crunchyroll. Lots of seasons on there. And also Shout Factory has some Crunchyroll seasons as well. Yeah, no, Shout Factory has some Ultraman seasons as well. Crunchyroll becomes its own show. But yeah, no, so the point is that why would I say that they're fans of tokusatsu? Well, not just the dinosaur arm, that's pretty much not only Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, but a lot of other, Super Sentai shows as well. But you also have the way the inside of the mecha is set up, which, if you remember Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, they were sitting down, working with pushing buttons and stuff like that, which makes sense, when you're working with ancient dinosaur gods. But whatever. Anyway, that was the original premise. But anyway, so they're pushing buttons and stuff, and these nodes, whatever. But in other shows, like you think of anime, I don't know if you've ever seen G Gundam, Satish.
No, but go on.
Really? Yes, you have. You have to have. In passing.
No, but
you
go
not
on.
saying you. Okay, well, you've seen Pacific Rim.
Yes, 100%.
The way that they set it up with we move our arms and that's how we have to do it in sync. That's how G Gundam worked. The inside of the mecha.
And they did it. They did it.
Also, talking about
machine.
it in. Yes, but talking about the Japanese side of it, that's also happened in Geki Ranger and in Kyoryuger, where in Kyoryuger they've definitely had dinosaur arms. Because when they were cracking the amber, I was like, oh God, someone's going to come in riding on a dinosaur. The dinosaur's going to be let loose. No, it's just a dinosaur arm.
But by the way, I appreciated that because that was one of the loose ends on my list. Because at the end of whatever episode that was, with the pig and Magaken and all that, you can see that dinosaur in the amber and it breaks an arm and the eye is... Yeah. So that was a thing where I was like, hey, that was a callback. Much respect.
Yes. Yeah, no, they had a decent amount of callbacks, especially when I mentioned the idea of like, oh, they're going to have to work together with the monsters because it only makes fucking sense. I mean, you're going to have these gnomes, these unicorns. Would have liked to have seen more unicorn love, rather unicorn attack. But unicorn, you have multi-bear. I mean, you have Minotaur. You have so many of these creatures in this town that while it would have been nice to see them actually fight, I mean, there could end up being a director's cut version on on a DVD or something like that, or a potential re-airing. But but still,
I think the director's cut, by the way, is a really big thing. Like, I do personally believe, because Alex himself has mentioned a lot that there's a lot they have to cut off. In fact, there's a complete episode that was animated that was never aired, and you know about this because we talk about it a lot.
No, it was never animated. They never said it was animated. They just said they wanted to do it.
Yeah.
So the entire episode was animated, the David Bowie one.
I'm not going to say the entire episode, but I know that there was work done to animate it, and then they decided
now it might
not
have to be
air
done.
it.
Now it might have to be done because sadly we've lost David Bowie in the time that we've done our last show to this one, so they might actually want to do it in tribute to him.
Mm-hmm.
It might be a DVD exclusive.
I think the DVD would have that, and it's funny we keep saying DVD, right? We should be saying Blu-ray, shouldn't we?
Not at all. They can easily release both. I mean,
I
they
know they'll release
still
a
release
DVD,
DVDs.
right? But are we dating ourselves a little bit by constantly saying DVD, or is it still the common accepted vernacular?
Fuck everything, Hirsch. If you care about us as fans, you're